Hey everyone, I just wanted to stop by real quick before this podcast starts and say you should like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on all my social medias at John D. Clouser. It's literally the same name as the name that you subscribe to on this YouTube channel. So enjoy this clip, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
That's it. No, he said they might as well forfeit. That's it.
So what's the ruling? What did he say?
What did he say? He told me I had a small dong.
Welcome to The John Show with your hosts, John Doogie Clouser.
All right. Oh man, did you notice that like halfway through that, I was about 2 measures in, and my voice was like, nope, we're not going to be able to hit that, John, one bit, and we're not going to be able to withstand this for a long time. So anyway, guys, what is up? What's going on? How are you? We're here, and you're here for a new episode of my show, The John Show. And I'm your host, John D. Clouser. What is up, guys? How are you? So I hope you guys are doing swell. You're alive, you're well. This is what day, we said 3, it would be like 222 of what we call COVID. I probably should have said the word already, but anyway, I'm here to do a show for you. I want to say thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a returning guest, if you're brand new, this is me. I'm John D. Clouser. I'm a filmmaker. I post a lot of annoying stuff on the interwebs. I sit here and I have a half tequila, now the table has a little bit of the tequila. Well, I have half tequila, half sparkling water, mango flavored. Because what I like to do is I don't like to have any sort of enjoyment when I drink liquids. That's the key thing. Tequila, not that great, straight. Bubbly water, not that good, even flavored, not that great. It's not the greatest of things, but we're here. I'm here. Again, how many times could I say this? I should get a coaster. So I have these coasters, and they have like, wow, pizzazz, and like they're just cartoon coasters. But what's so funny is I got them from this actress girl. So I've only dated maybe 2 girls that were in the arts as well as I am. So the first one was an actress. Very interesting. I guess technically 3 because the lizard girl was a dancer. So she was the first one, and that was out in LA, and that was the summer of 2012, roughly, almost into the fall of 2012. Because I was, no, that was past. That was like 2013, actually, 2013. Because at that point, I had already worked as a production coordinator, and I moved on to another production house. So yeah, that was. Oh my God, so I was 24 years old. Oh my God, I was so young at that time. And then the second one was when I was 24, almost going on 25. I had just moved to Kansas City, and she was just a Broadway actress. And what was so interesting about her, and that's where I got these coasters from, because she was moving from one house to another, and she was like, "Do you just want these coasters?" And I was like, "All right, I might as well take them." I'm like, I can use these for something. Little did I know that I'd eventually end up using them for podcast stuff to hold my tequila. Well, anyway, what was so interesting about her was when we were dating, she did a lot of musicals. And I don't know if you know about me, I hate musicals. I absolutely despise them. I was 15 years old once, and I had gone to so many Broadway, I've gone to so many just like plays, and I enjoy plays. I love plays. They're awesome. Those are fun to watch because there's no singing. But what I don't like about musicals is there's like talking, and they talk for a while, and then they sing about the same exact thing that they just talked about. And for me, there's absolutely no need to do that. There's no need to double dip on something. And I understand, some people like musicals. Some people don't like just normal storytelling, just being told to you. You like to have music sung to you, which was fine. But anyway, so I would go to a lot of these musicals, and she would somehow always find me out in the crowd. And and at the end of the show, she'd be like, "Why didn't you ever clap once?" And now in my heart, I didn't say the reason why I didn't clap is because I did not enjoy this one bit. But I'm here to support you because, God forbid a moment comes around that you need to support me with my art, that you do that. what was so interesting about her was that later on, like in the middle of our relationship, she's like, I never watch anything that anybody I date, I never watch any of their work. I'm like, but I'm like, I've gone to so many of your plays, and she's like, yeah. I'm like, so you never watch any of my work ever? She's like, no, never. I'm like, that's great. This is an amazing person, and this is someone I should be dating. And then the third lady she's another filmmaker, and I'm still good friends with her. We're good friends. We kind of dated. We're like, we're better off just being friends, and that's about it. And that's where we're at right now in my life. That's what I'm doing, relationship wise. But yeah, tell you the truth, tequila. Let me take a drink of this, and so I mean, like, baby, in that sip, I can remember where the whole tangent of what I was just talking about was meeting. Hold on. Nope, I don't remember. But the most interesting thing is like, so the background, not so bad. Kind of looks kind of good. Looks kind of interesting. It's all over the place. There's still a little bit of patches here and there, but I'm kind of like, if I use things like this is a little bit more distracting, so you get rid of it. And I like to do a 16:9 framing. Basically, I like to bring down and have like a black bars on the top and the bottom. That's how it looks more to me. It looks more cinematic. It looks more like it was shot on film versus shot on digital. But I don't know. This episode, I'm not going to be able to do that because it's I'm shooting such a tight frame, and it kind of makes me mad because there's a door that sits right over here. But the thing is, you can't tell. And the whole reason why I did all this was so like we never got that door in the shot. 'Cause I think it just looks tacky. To tell you the truth, I don't know where this is going, where this came from, but we are here. Should I just go ahead and get into the podcast and get into some stories, or get into like the main story of this week? So, guys, man, like, there's moments in your life when things just like kind of fall into your lap, and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be able to use this for a podcast story, or I'm gonna forever have this gross story to tell. And to be honest with y'all, that actually happened to me this week. So anyway, I'm very cautious. I work in a kitchen right now. I was working in film. That kind of thing kind of fell down right now at the moment because of the whole COVID stuff. I get my second vaccine, I believe, this coming week, which is going to be killer. It's actually this week right now. I believe at the end of this, like Friday, I believe, is when I'm going to be getting it. But so, I'm very cautious with I wash my hands all the time. My knuckles are always dry because I'm washing my hands all the time, and I have to always lotion them. And just this process it's what life is, what life should have been to begin with. Because if things were like that, then I don't know if you believe this came from a market or this came from a lab. Either way, it's a disease, and you should just wash your hands anyway. But I was at work, and I went into the bathroom because it was my lunch break about to start, and I go in there to wash my hands and to take a pee, and I wash myself, and like I noticed that this guy who is like the high up guy just got out of the bathroom taking a dump, and he was like, you need to wash your hands. I'm like, yeah, I know. And so I was washing. I just got done because by the time I got done peeing, and by the time he got done flushing the toilet and everything like that, like we kind of met at the sinks, and that's when he said all this to me. And he turned the water on, and all he did was like he took two pats with his right hand, same thing with his left hand, 1, 2, and then he didn't use any soap, and then he just turned the water off, dried his hands, and walked out. And that was like one of the most grossest things I ever saw. Like, this guy took a giant shit. I'm assuming giant shit because, like, whenever you go, like, I'm assuming just based on, like, as a man to a man, like, I do a lot of vitamins. I take a lot of, like, protein shakes. I do a lot of stuff that, like, adds volume. And I'm assuming this person's probably the same. Or he eats a lot of volume. So, and the fact that he didn't really wash his hands after doing that. Like, that's so gross. Like, I can't understand pee. I can't understand people who don't wash their hands after they pee. I definitely can't understand people who don't wash their hands after they just got done taking a shit. So I witnessed that, and I'm like, oh my God, that was so gross. But I'm like, that's going to be so awesome to be able to tell on the podcast. Like, that's such going to be an awesome story to tell and to talk about, because I think it's so gross. I think it's absolutely horrific to do that to someone, or to do that and like to not think about other people, to think about all the stuff that you're going to touch and all the things that are going to be they're going to be infected by the fact that you didn't wash your hands. It's gross. It's gross. But something that's not gross, that some people do think that's gross, peeing in the shower. I don't understand people who don't pee in the shower. It makes sense. Like, if you're in the shower and you go pee, just go ahead and pee, because it's going to drain out, and it's going to drain. The water is going to drain. Like, there's a whole system. And, like, do you understand? There's some people, I have friends who get out of the shower and they'll pee in the toilet, and they'll make a huge tsunami throughout their whole bathroom because, like, they got out of their wet. I'm like, and I can understand, like, you turn it on, you let it warm up to get the hot water going, and you pee. I can understand doing that. That makes sense, because you don't want to sit in the cold water. That makes sense. But I don't understand, like, being in mid-shower. If you had suds on, you had suds all over your body, like, all that stuff, and that you're just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to get out of the shower, and then I'm going to sit down on the toilet. I'm going to tinkle, and I'm going to take it, and then, like, and then, you know what's other things gross? Like, some people, like, take dumps too. Like, I know we're talking a lot about poop right now on this episode, and just sit down. We're gonna relax. We're gonna talk a lot about this, but think about someone who does that, who would be in mid-shower, get out of the shower, and take a shit. Why would you not be able to plan that better? I feel like you should be able to plan that a lot better and understand, like, your bowels. But I don't know. This is my life. Another weird, interesting thing, which also, like, kind of disturbed me this week, was I was at the gym yesterday, and I was using just two, like, I guess a better way, it would be just a bar, like one of the wavy bars, so you can do curls. Well, anyway, so this Russian guy, I could tell that he didn't speak very, very good English, because he was doing just a lot of pointing and was like, just kind of like, are you done with this? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm done. And I'm like, oh, I need to wipe down. He's like, no, I don't believe in the COVID virus. And I'm like, okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. I don't know what's worse, that or the guy who doesn't wash his hands when he went to the bathroom. I don't know. Both of them are pretty gross. Both of them are pretty gross. And yeah, I just don't get it. I always wash my hands. I wash my hands so much, all the time, because I'm always afraid that, like, I'm gonna be touching something that I'm gonna end up, like, wipe my eye or something like that. I'm gonna give myself pink eye, because whenever I do get pink eye, you know how I scratched my cornea or got some kind of virus in my eye earlier I think it was like during the summertime when I was wearing those glasses, and like, that was awful. That's not fun. Like, it hurts, and it's like, it hurts to blink, it hurts to look like at stuff. You have to wear these goofy old grandpa glasses, and it's not a good time. It's not a very interesting life. What time? Like, I'm doing this on Monday, February 22nd. It's like 7:51, and I have Aaron coming over to shoot some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, come over at 8. And I was like thinking, like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to get all my podcasting and all, like, my workout and all that stuff done. And I just, like, again, I procrastinated all the way to 3, and I'm like, I got 7 hours, because, like, he texted me at like 1 in the afternoon. He was like 8 p.m. work, and I'm like, yeah, that works. I'm like, I got 7 hours, and I just bullshit for most of it. I got a lot of laundry done, got a lot of cooking done, but, like, I was like, I'm gonna get this podcast shit done too, and it takes me like a good hour to set up all the lights, because what I want to do for my stuff, because I don't have anyone else help me with my stuff, because it's like, there's no need. Because whenever I go and I do my podcast, I just want to just do it. I don't want to I don't want to torture anyone else in a room with me when I'm doing this show, because there's really no need for anyone else to be in this horrific demonstration of what they call like playing radio. What's so funny is I used to do this all the time when I was like 8, 9 years old. It's like my parents used to listen to a lot of Rush Limbaugh. I guess like R.I.P. You crazy racist, alcoholic, addicted to pain pills person. And then like, what do you call the NBA, the Thug League? And you were a strong like Trump supporter. And what's so funny is a lot of people are like this week has been like really bashing you. And like the thing is like, I looked at him like it was at a cartoon, even at a young age when I was watching this, because my dad would listen to him. And he's like, yeah, my dad was like, yeah, it's just fun to listen to. And like we would listen to it. And it was Rush Limbaugh was one of those things that my dad and I kind of bonded over. And I kind of got into the whole radio stuff and getting into microphones and audio gear because of him. Because I was like, oh, what is all this stuff that he does? He does like a radio show and they use microphones, and what is all this? And, and I was at the early age of, the internet. And that was like the stuff I was like Googling and looking up and wanting to know was like microphones and like guitars and, chords and things like that. Because like that's really like my first love was like music stuff. Because that's what I really got in. That's how I got into the arts, was through playing the guitar. Then I went to that, to like the bass, banjo, acoustic guitar. Everyone plays that stuff. And then drums. I play clarinet, trombone, like a bunch of just different random ass instruments. And so the audio stuff is just kind of like being able to learn how to do all this stuff, like have these kind of microphones and have an inbox for your audio equipment. It's like, yeah, this is all like, this was part of the game that I was going to do anyway. So, but yeah, I used to do this shit all the time in my room by myself. Like I'd walk around with a little camcorder in my hand and be talking into it, do dumb stuff, like would like record from like the television. Like if there was like something that I liked, I would record that so I could be able to like splice it in to what I was recording. Because I would do like I had a dual tape player, so I could have one be my editing tape, and the other one was like the one I was like playing to record onto the other tape. It was really fun because the moment when like one of my friends was like, yeah, you can record from one to another. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, you have a dual one. Why aren't you doing this? I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do this shit. So like I just bought a bunch of cassette tapes, and I would just and then I would have CDs, and I would basically roughly sample tapes. I would basically I would sample CDs and put it in recording on the tape and being able to edit the tape together. So it was hard and it took a long time. So if you fucked up and like you wanted like something on like within 30 seconds, you have to go back again, or if you wanted something at the very end of the song, you'd have to wait to the very end, because like my tape player that I had, you couldn't hold down the button and it would fast forward, so you'd have to play the whole song if you wanted something at the very end. It was fun. That was my first way of editing like sound stuff, and then that's how I got into all this film stuff. Like then now, look at me now. I'm drinking tequila, talking to a microphone, looking to a camera with a bunch of lights and a bunch of newspapers in the back that I put up because I thought it'd be a cool backdrop. And that is how you can live a life like this. Be me. You can do that and have fun and, be a good person. So I have like 10 minutes left, and I'm surprised because usually Aaron won't text me until it is like 2 minutes till. It is 4 minutes till 8 o'clock right now. So I don't know. What I'm going to probably do is like what I was thinking is like, if he texts me, I'm going to call him. And then that's how we'll end the podcast with this. And I'll just be a little bit shorter than normal. Just be kind of a smaller episode. Just so we can have them come in and, all this thing. Do you guys really care? Because like, what's so interesting. So if you guys noticed, last week it was just my episode, my solo episode. And that was it. And that was because Aaron was out of town, and yeah, so when Aaron's out of town, we don't do Berkshire Bubble, and we don't do Cool Baby podcast. But so Aaron's back in town. Aaron's back in town. Aaron's back in town. And now we're gonna be able to do all that stuff. So it's gonna be back to a normal week this week. And I'm like always feeling like maybe I should post more, or not post more, but even like when he's gone, I should have someone come in and we should do it. But I'm like, I just feel bad asking someone to come do a show with me. I'm like, no one wants to do this, John. Like, this is really honestly your dream and your dream alone. Everyone else would have just kind of like, bought a house, got a wife, had some kids by now. But instead, you're sitting here talking to a microphone, looking to a camera on the floor of a mansion. And that's what you do. That's what you're doing. So it's not bad. It's an awesome life. Very little responsibilities. I have very little responsibilities. I'm about to buy a new camera. That's going to be fun. Going to wait until the beginning of next month to buy it. And that's going to be my big purchase for the month, I think. That, and then I'm probably going to buy some sandbags. And the next purchase will be another C-stand. So it'll be very fun. And it was so funny because like this month I was like, where did all my money go? I'm like, oh yeah, John, you bought a bunch of random like sound equipment and film gear. But damn it, this is what happens when you start hanging around. I'm hanging around a lot more film people. And so with hanging around them, you're seeing their gear and you're seeing what they do. And you're like, well, fuck, like if I get my gear up to like their standards, then, we're going to make a bomb team. We're going to be able to do so much more shit. And like they have a style. I have a style. I have other people. They have people. And so we can just bring them all together and make all this really cool work. And that we're going to, and I'm starting to realize that I need to have more of a herd and have a group of people with me that I can just like Calabunga with. And just, it's so funny. Calabunga means surprise in Hawaiian. And so yeah, hold on. Aaron actually just texted me, so I'm gonna call him and I'll have him on the podcast real quick. Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
Hey, I'm doing my podcast right now. You're on it right now. How are you doing?
Oh, great.
Yeah, how are you doing?
How are you?
Good.
Wonderful.
I've missed you.
I missed you too.
So I have like.
How's your podcast going?
It's going pretty good. I have like 3 minutes left, and so I just want to let you know that I'm gonna finish this real quick, and then I'll be right down to get you. But
this is really good cross promotion.
I know this is awesome because the reason why I wanted to have you on was because just in case if somebody's living under a rock and they don't realize that you and I do a show together, what is a word of wisdom that you would like to give out?
Listen to the Cool Baby podcast.
All right, sounds good. All right, I'll be right down. I'll be down to get you in
bye.
2 minutes. Bye.
Have fun on your podcast.
Thank you. Bye. All right, so that's Aaron. Check out the Cool Baby podcast, guys. That's something you should definitely be doing. And what else? What could we be doing? What's a little way that I could slide into the very end of this podcast? So that's something. Friendship. Little word of thing that I've been realizing is that I've been every day what I'll do is I'll wake up, I'll go to the gym, I'll do my sauna stuff, and I always will text one of my friends or call them, and I'll just be like, hey, I just want to call you and just say what's up, just see how you're doing, just saying how much I appreciate having your friendship, and if you need anything, hey, just what's up, just give me a holler. I'm here for you, buddy. And, we should do some work together or I enjoy doing work with you. And that's it. And what's surprising? How great of an experience that has been. I grew up with a family where we never expressed feelings ever. And so doing that kind of stuff was shown as weakness in my household. And so to be able to be able to know that I'm to be an adult, it is to learn that hey, you know what, maybe just being really overly nice to your friends can only help you, and it's only a good thing to do, and it makes you feel great. And I realize it makes me feel really good. I'm just hey, I appreciate the fuck out of you, and I appreciate you guys too. I appreciate anybody who like gives thumbs up on this podcast, who watches this thing. Like, dude, like this is so much. This is fun for me. I just like doing it. It's good. It's good practice for lighting, for camera work, dude, I have a C-stand and I have this halo light now that's on top. You can see a shadow, and that's because like there's a light bulb above me. You know, it's like, actually it's like three. It's like three to equal up like one giant light. But yeah. So if there's anything, if you guys gotten this far, if you've taken anything from this podcast, take the fact that just be appreciative to your friends. Tell one of your friends. Tell everyone, all your buddies. Be like, hey, you know what? I appreciate the fuck out of you. You know, I think you're amazing. You're a good person. Thank you for being in my life. I enjoy breaking bread with you. Yeah. Because fuck, guys, COVID has shown us a lot of shit. And it should show us one thing, like we're all one, really, because none of us mean shit compared to a fucking virus that none of us can fucking see. It's crazy. It is, right? Come on. And that's one to drink too. But one last thing I want to end this podcast on. Let's end it more on a more positive note. Did you know, one, that the wishbone dog, the terrier, he passed away? And two, his name was actually Soccer, not Wishbone. Soccer. His name was Soccer. What an odd name to name your dog, I think. But I'm going to probably end this podcast right here because I have some people waiting downstairs for me. And it's not cold today. It was like 54 degrees today. I walked around, took a bunch of pictures, had a merry time, smiled at a bunch of people. Said, hey, how are you? And these things, like, I've realized that it just feels so good just doing this, being friendly with people, and just being an enjoyable person to be around, instead of like being, scowling and kind of being more recluse, like, just being a little bit more open. But yeah, if you've taken anything from this episode, just take from that. I'm trying to learn. It's one thing I'm trying to learn, is I'm trying to be more open, more friendly with people, be more not reclused. Realizing that this tequila, this Hortos tequila, is not that good. But yeah. Anyway, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram, John D. Clouser. We're taking hits on that. It's going down. My followers was just completely fine. I don't give a shit. I don't even understand how we got 15,000 people even follow me to begin with. So the fact that if that's the highest I ever go, good for me, man. I think that's pretty fucking awesome. So follow me on subscribe to my YouTube channel. I mean, like, I would say, like, give me more money, but like, I think that's the rudest thing. I don't understand why I feel like that. I feel like that's so rude of me to be like, to make a Patreon and be like, you guys should pay. You should, like, give me money and you're on my Patreon, a monthly thing. I think that's so douchey. I don't know why I do. And I shouldn't, because I've clearly shown that I'm week in, week out. And I think this is my 1 year anniversary, because on the 26th, it was when I posted my very first episode of my solo podcast. So it'll be my 1 year anniversary, technically, this week. Huh. That's actually kind of cool. I've been doing this for 1 year, solo thing, just doing it just because I wanted to, like, just honestly, I started doing it just to work on my voice, like, to work on, like, control my pitch, to sound better, to not have a lot of murmurs, to be able to pronunciate better, to have a full-fledged thought, and do dun, 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 beginning, middle, and end. And it's been, I don't know, I might have gotten maybe from this, I've gotten like that much better. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I have like 25 seconds left on this podcast. So be good, be safe. Drink tequila with just sparkling water. It's not as bad as you think. But be safe, guys. I get my second vaccine, I believe, at the end of this week. So things are looking up. What are they? The studies are going down, or like the cases are going down. So be safe. I'll see you guys later.